can be assigned in different ways. How an item can be assigned to users in different ways. Coming to login, you search for an item, select the element, search. You can see that there is assignment under action. So this is one method of assigning items to employees. Another method is from user side, go to users and navigate to the user, like say search for any user. If you want to assign any item, from here you will be able to assign items to the user that you have selected. This will become assigning items that is through field floating. This is one method. If you want to assign batch wise, what you've got to do is go to users, come to tool section, assign or remove list. If you see here, this is based on batch wise. That means you can select any entity, and once you select an entity of users to any number of items, this is what is called batch wise. Assigning batch wise. Okay, I have selected some profile employees. Here if you see, there are 13,621 employees in the system currently. But then I want to assign users for certain users and list of items. So I know I have to assign the items that I am already having. What you have got to do is come back to your search criteria. You have your search criteria here. You can choose your employee from all the search criteria. If you do not want to search from these, if you want to add any of them, just select add or remove criteria. If you see here, you have number of attributes. If you want to let me just to show you I'm selecting consistency and I'm selecting this, so that whatever consistency I have selected, that also will come under my search criteria here. So now what I'm doing is I'll go to domain, under domain and select the filter option. Search for the domain. I have these many domains. I have US Department Airport or Asia Pacific or Accounts Payable Australia. So I can choose whatever domain that I want to. I'm selecting these two domains. I will say add to filter. and it will be shown here as 2 domains are selected. Click on Submit Filter. If you want to remove your filter, you can always remove by selecting this button. So whatever your filter is there, it will get removed. Now that I am seeing from domains US and Australia, I want people from so also. We'll choose filter. I'm seeing this unit. So something like this, you can choose whatever your selection is, and then once you're done with your selection, you just click on search. So people, based on your selection criteria only, the list of users will be seen. If you see if there are no users that are found for this particular search criteria, then come back to our search. There's a small view organization. We'll remove organization and check if any users are there under that particular domain. So I will remove my filter from organization. Here filter by selecting the tab. You have your domain selected. We'll search if any users are available. So we have around 13 users. If you see here, if you select all from this button, you can select the list of employees that is only available here, that is 10 records. But you have total 13. If you want to select all, just select 25 so that all the list of employees, whoever is being triggered, select all of them. All users will get selected. Click on Add. So this way you can select any number of users. So the way we are assigning items to list of users is called user needs management. So we have chosen our list of employees. All of them will be available here. Now coming to we are done with that. So back to next screen. Now search for your item. So here also you want to search only for online courses. We'll do, like you can see here, there is no classification. If we want to add in my classification, here choose your criteria and select the kind of classification available. Choose your item classification and select. So now your item classification, we will select the courses saved online. I want to assign online related courses to all the users that I have selected. So add to filter and submit your filter. Now search for your online related courses. You have
మాది మీరు సెలెక్ట్ చేసిన తర్వాత అది సబ్మిట్ చేసిన తర్వాత అది అయిపోతుంది అనుకుంటా. యూ హావ్ టు గో బ్యాక్ అనుకుంటా. అంటే అక్కడ రాసింది దెన్ రెడీ టు సబ్మిట్ ద స్కిల్స్ అండ్ రిటర్న్ టు యువర్ బేస్ వర్క్ ఫైల్ అన్నారు కదా. Select the subject filter and ready to submit the filter and return to your page that criteria.
So there was no option to come back. So here if you see I have selected any number of items that we want to. After this I should select remove button and apply changes and add. So I'm just selecting the items that I have selected, add. Now come back to your different. And the way manager was like assigning or husband was assigning courses, similarly this particular user management screen also will look like. So we have to give our assignment type from the drop downs like required. We will say that this particular assignment type is optional. The training to external vendor is optional. We will say this as your performance improvement. So we can choose whatever assignment type that we want to. This date will automatically switch to date date. Go to next button. These two, if you see assignment types are already there because under assignment itself they have given assignment type. So we then have to choose assignment type again. Coming back to required date. If there is a calendar, always navigate to the calendar.
Madhuri, the previous screen and this screen are not the same for assignment type.
No, it is not. Okay, let me go back to your screen. What we are giving in the previous screen is, we are giving the assignment type and the assignment date. So this particular date will automatically pick the date of the current system date. Now when we go to the next button, what will happen is, the assignment type that we have chosen, it will get defaulted, and then you will have to give your required date. That was on the same screen. So in that screen it was assignment date. When we come to next screen, it was assignment type, assignment date, and then comes the required date.
If we follow the process, it should be automatically coming in the screen.
If we actually map it an item, we do not have to again select assignment type also. Now here, if you see, you can run job now or you can schedule job. If you run job, automatically all these items, so all the users that you have selected, all the list of items, batch-wise, it will get selected and it will go into the learning path. If there are n number of users that you have chosen and there are many items that you have selected, always you can schedule job. Just select, the moment you click on schedule job, you even have run the job immediately option also. Select your radio button and give your date when you want to run this job, give the time, and the naming convention should be in this particular format only. The time zone will be there as per the system preferences. If you want to give your email, say like you have executed this job and if once that is completed, if there is a mail trigger to happen, just give your mail ID to whichever mail it should trigger. Otherwise, just remove this and click on finish. So once you click on finish, the job will run back in. So once I select the job immediately and click on finish, all the list of courses, whatever I have chosen, to those items, all 10 users, it will get selected and then employee can go ahead and register for the courses that we have assigned them. It will be basically in their homepage, learning homepage under My Learning Assignments file. This is another method of assigning courses. This will be under user management. If you actually can see here, it is not only meant for items, but it is meant for all these list of entities that you can see here. By this method, you can even add curricula to employees, add job-related curricula, you can assign competencies, you can add job-related competency profiles, or you can directly remove all these entities. So this is the user management tool. So it is always under user section, navigate to tools and assign or remove learning. So this is all done batch-wise. If it is for a single user and single item, search for your user, come to user, search for your user and start assigning items the way he has just recommended.
So Madhuri, that required date is there, right? That is, by that time you have to finish the
you want to finish the course. Yeah, you should finish
or you should start the item by the time.
Start the item? No, that employee, it is like we are telling the required date for the employee to take the course.
Okay.
Required date I gave March 31st, right? So that means within March 31st, he should be able to complete that course.
Complete that course, okay.
Previous screen already system will automatically pick up the system date.
Correct. Yes. System date because that day only we are assigning the course. So it was taking the assignment date as the current system date. But then when we are assigning as the required, as assignment type we are selecting as required and we have to tell by when the employee should be able to complete the course.
Madam, this is Prasad here. Where is the returning option?
question will come.
Okay.
The retraining is there. We have to give that in action. Coming to item, we will see how you actually revise an item. So now we are under the item screen. If you see under actions, there is something called revise button. So once you choose revise button, if you want to make any changes, say this particular ILT training, this is a classroom training, and there is a certain agenda, whether it is a 1-day course or a 2-day course, whatever it is. If you see here, we have segments. For this particular course, we have given 1 day. And tomorrow I want to add another agenda for the same course and have another day for the same course. And here, the course test LMS can also be test LMS version 2. Something like that. So if I want to make any sort of changes to the existing item without changing the ID or the item type, you have to always navigate instead of making any sort of changes directly here in the system. Like you can go and always edit your description, you can go change your description here, so you can give your segments, you can add offerings, but then if you feel that this particular course is having another agenda, it is not the same course, and then say the employee has attended test LMS, but then tomorrow after 3 months or 6 months period, if you see that there is a new release for this and then employee should attend, complete this course again with revision 2, then you have to always select revise button, only then you have to modify this particular item. So we'll see how you can revise an item. You are already under that particular item. So once you choose revise button, you have to give your revision date. Say I am revising this item today, so I have chosen my revision date and time. It is always in hours and minutes. So say 0900. Revision number is 1. Till now there is no revisions made. So it is showing as revision number 1. Now I am making another revision. So always remove that revision number and increase with your another version. So once you are done with that, title is test LMS. I want to name it as test LMS revision ref 1. So this way you can give any sort of title that you want to tell only that this is another version of the same course which has some more agenda in it. Now once you are done with this section, select next. Now here it says, do you wish to copy the substitute relationship for this item to the new revision? Obviously yes. So you wish to change all authorized instructors to the new revisions. Now there are some instructors, if this is an instructor-led course and there are 2 people who are already taking this course. If you feel that the same person can again go ahead and take this course if he is aware of the subject that he is going to take, then you can tell yes, so that the same instructors can be matched to the revisions that you have done. So once you have chosen your options here, click on next. Now make this item production ready or do not make this item production ready. The moment you make this item production ready, automatically available in the system, you will not be able to do anything. So you should always select the radio button, do not make this item production ready and click on next. So you can view your changes that you have done, your item and then your revision date, revision number and then new revision, new description, and you have chosen your selection. Once you click on finish, this is how the screen will look like. If you see, you have your new description here, whatever you have just done. Now what you can see here, you already have your segments and your scheduled offerings. If you want to add another segment for the same course, you can go ahead and add your segment, or just copy from the existing segment, say copy one, and so you will one more segment will get added. Now you can always modify the segment. Say if you feel that you don't want 8 hours for this, make your changes, whatever changes that you want to do, and save. Say this way you can modify your changes for this particular revised item. Then under the section, when you are in this particular screen, under actions, you can see something called productionize. That means now you can set this particular item available to the employees. That is the reason you are selecting as productionize. Once you click on productionize, it will tell, do you wish to inactivate previous revision of this item, so that now that particular item was already done, people have attended, now that particular agenda is not there, there is a new agenda. So you have to always inactivate that and have this activate version of the course. So all these options that is here should be always yes. So you wish to update curricula with this particular revised item, so it is yes. Do you wish to update user learning plan with this new item? Select yes. Do you wish to change all future scheduled offerings to access the new revision? So you should always select yes and click on next. Once you are done with all your changes, then you can run your job now. So this is how you do revision for an item. Here you have any doubt?
This delay start is right, Madhu.
That means here you have 8 hours. Or you say here you have 4 hours. If you say like delay start for 1 hour, say 1 hour, so there is an option for them to delay to start the course after 1 hour, or they can have a break in between. So this will extend for 5 hours actually. If the duration is 4 and if you have a delay start, so that particular number of hours will get extended. They can have a break in between also. That particular delay can be any time, whether it is in the beginning or in between also.
Okay. So one hour of break. Anytime.
Anytime.
Madhu, what is the content of the day 1 and day 2? We have extended a day, right? So what can we insert in that days 1 and 2? Like what kind of a training is that?
Means you want to attach documents to this particular section, is it?
Because there is a document because when we are trying to revise this, since an employee has already been attended this training course, when we are trying to revise this content again, revise this training activity, right? So here it has mentioned as day 1 and day 2. What are the activities that we are achieving in that day 1?
Segments, if you see, when you go and here actually now you're under segments. Here there are 2 options actually. There is the list view and the calendar view. You're under the list view section. Only under list view section you will be able to copy segments. Otherwise you will not be able to copy segments. You have to go and keep on adding your segments. Because I have to copy or we have to modify the changes here. We are under the list view section. If you want to always add your description for this, you can give your description. Say on day 1 it is overview. So employees will be able to see on day 1, day 2, whatever description that they want to give. You can add whatever agenda that you want to here. So if you want to increase this, you can always choose this button here. So the list of segments you will be able to view. So here you name it as day 1 introduction. Day 2. If you want to add one more, you can always go and add segments. Day 3. If you want to give your description as duration data, something. So this is how you can keep adding, and whatever description that you want to give, you can go and dictate. And once you're done with your changes, you can save. Can you see here? I navigated to scheduled offerings screen. Right? Now I have my segments here. Whatever I had entered, hello?
Yeah.
Okay. So in between there was a basic. So if you see here, I navigated to the scheduled offering screen. From there, under related area, that's the scheduled offering. We have segments. Coming to segments, if you see, there are two buttons here. One is calendar view and other one is list view. Now we are under calendar view. Go back to your list view. This is how the screen will look like. Select your segment. You have all your details here. Choose your resources. Here under day 1, and then you have your 23rd start date and 8 hours start date and end date. So for each day you can give your description the way we have given for segments. By then employee
taking up the end date, right? We haven't given the end date.
The system is taking the end date because when we have created this item, no, we gave duration as number of days of one end time. End time we gave 8 hours.
Yeah.
No, it's just taking that. We are not giving it. The system is automatically taking. So this is how we do for when we want to revise an item.
Structuring this item will be there in the system or not?
It will be there, but it will be in inactive state. So let me show that to you.
Only one item will be active in that.
Yeah, only one item will be active. Now I am navigating to test elements and will search for the code. You see here, we have test LMS, but revision 2. on which day we had revised. Why? Because here only this course is active. And if you choose not active and you give your test LMS and search, then you will be able to get the earlier course, the revision 1, and the date that we had created. Because it was inactive, we had selected inactive button, right, when we were doing all the revision time. So that's how it will be under inactive.
Okay, let's take a case where one user wants test LMS and the other user wants test LMS revision 1. How would that be?
It will not happen. Because that again itself is not active.
Okay, then
yeah, why we are doing this particular revision is because there are some more chapters or some more agenda included in that particular course. Only then we are going and revising it and keeping the first initial course as inactive. And then whoever has attended that course, if you want that employees also to redo the same course with a new version, only then you will go and do revision for an item.
Okay, the case where users didn't attend the course, then
users have not attended the first revision course and they have to attend the second revision.
No. That's it. Yes.
In that case, then they don't have to bother about the first revision at all. Because now currently revision 2 is only active. And that is the course that they are supposed to do. So they will not even know that there was revision 1 and then that is inactive at all. Whatever is active only they will be able to see in the catalog.
Okay.
Active courses they will not be able to do. This is for the admin purpose. Okay. Under the home page, we have all these quick links here, right? So you can even navigate directly from the user section and where you went to users management or assign or remove learning. Other than navigation into your users or go to learning and then under actions you are assigning, under users you are assigning, you can even do that under your quick links and this particular button, assign or remove learning. From quick links section. So these are all the standard quick links that is available in the system. Now coming to assignment profile. Assignment profile, you have it here also as assignment profile. Otherwise you have your users here. Under user tab, there is assignment profile. If not, you can always, this is a search option. Anytime, if you want to, you don't know where you have to go and navigate, if you just type here under search, assignment profile automatically, add assignment profile, anything based on your search, you will have that. So select your assignment profile and if you click on add, this particular screen you will get it. So basically, no matter whether you are navigating from here, this search button or from under user tab assignment profile or under the home page assignment profile, from wherever it is, you will get it to the same page. Now coming to add assignment profile. So basically, we have created a catalog for 2016. So we will try to give, when you are adding an assignment profile, you have to be very careful under the naming convention. Say if you want to assign courses to particular organizational unit people or particular job code people or whatever assignment profile that you are doing, for you to understand what all users come into that picture, you can give your own ID as your assignment profile. So first of all, we'll see in the system what sort of assignment profiles are there so that you will have a clear idea of what that is. Here you have something called employees. That means all employees, core catalog or recommendations and individual item assignments. You see, all employees in Europe and exclusive as assignment profile means job code who is having as executive So for them you're creating an assignment profile. So for all external employees you're creating an assignment profile. So based on whatever assignment profile that you're creating, if you give your ID in that particular way, as a naming convention, then it is like more useful. I'm selecting because there are totally 28 records, so I'm selecting the number of records that I want to. We will get into one of the assignment profile and check how it is. Now coming to new hire orientation. So we'll see how they have created this. This is what is an assignment profile. ID and description is new hire orientation. Now coming to manage rules. As I was saying, you have to give your rules whom you are going to select your employees. You have to give your attributes, and that particular attribute should also have values. Based on that, employee will get assigned all the list of courses that is based on this particular selection criteria. Now we'll go and see how they have created rule as new hire orientation. If you see here, there are different domains. So first step that you want to always do is set up domain. So you have to choose which domain people should first be selected when you are actually doing the assignment profile. So they have chosen core data set and corporate people. So they have chosen two different domains. If you want to add domain, click on add domain and then go and search for your domain in the system. Say not only your corporate or any other org unit, I wanted benefits. So that particular domain also will get added. Coming back to your rules. Here if you see set up rules, go and edit your rules. You see here, you can see there are different set of entities which is available here. So basically, when you want to set your assignment profile for all of these based on your address, alternate job code, city, country, domain, employment status, employee ID, hire date, supervisor, item completion. So there are n number of lists that you can see here. So you can set your own selection criteria here as to who the items should get assigned. Coming to your hire date. Here you want to see, from the drop down you have selected as hire date. On or after this particular date, employees whoever are getting hired, they should get a list of curricula or items. They should get selected. So this is how you manage your rules. Like this, you can add any number of rules that you want to. Not only hire. This one was for your new hire orientation. That's the reason they have selected hire date, and you have given your values here. It should be whether equal to so-and-so date, or it should be more than or on or after, or anything, or it should be in between this date. So you can give your date here and you can save. What you also can do is, the moment you click on preview users in assignment profile, you can check whether there are any employees with the selection criteria that you have already chosen. So you will get the list of users here only. So if you see, there are so many users who belong to these three domains with whom we have selected, and also who are your rules, that is your hire date that you have selected. So with the help of these particular rules that you have set, you can see how many employees are there under this selection criteria. If you see here, it says 12 results. Now you can also see in this way, there is no other domain, there is only public domain, and with the help of user connector, you have uploaded a CSV file, and you have in your company 1,000 employees, and you have uploaded 1,000 employees. So when you are creating assignment profile, you say domain as public, you are not going to select any sort of domain, you are selecting your domain as public, and then here you select your tools. Here you can select or you don't have to select. Once you click on preview users, all 1,000 employees will be shown. That means it is understood that your whatever rules that you are setting is correct, and then you can go ahead by saving this assignment profile. If you want to remove any of the rules, you can always do this by selecting this delete phase, and you can create another rule. If you want to create another rule, always add rule, and then one more rule will get included. If you want to add one more, just give your selection here first. Now that you have selected your attributes at higher date, select another attribute as country or employment status ID. Employment status ID. You can say, if you know that what are the employment status that you have given, say he is an active employee, he is a retired employee, so you can choose your value here. So if you know that employment status matches active, so there is an employment status called active, and that should match your value. So you can set your rule here, otherwise go and search your employment status. So the list of employment searches will come here. There is something called active. You choose your search, add that. So employment status has another criteria. It should match with active ID. Now coming back to your rule, if you want to add one more rule, add another rule and select your attribute. So this way you can choose any number of criteria that you want to from the attribute that is given here. Other than the standard attributes, if you want to give your own field selection, then you can choose custom. Custom fields, there are some custom fields that people have given, so you can always create your custom fields from configuration file and then choose them under the selection criteria. So once you are done with that, the moment whatever changes that you have done, once you have seen how many users are there and you are okay with your rule, you can save. The moment you save this, you will come back to this particular screen. Now once you are here, once you have saved your assignment profile, there is something called under actions, you have propagate button. Can you see here? But it is grayed out because I have not made any sort of changes for the assignment profile here. Once you have made your changes, if you click on propagate button, this whatever assignment profile, say you say that a person who belongs to public domain, the catalog, that SAP LMS item that I have created a catalog called 2016 calendar, and then I have mapped my item to the catalog. I have created a new assignment profile and I have to map the catalog so that all the list of items that I have created, I have mapped to catalog, and this catalog I am mapping to the assignment profile, and I am creating my own rules for all the employees who belong to that particular rule. This catalog will get assigned. I am doing all this in the system, but without propagating it, the system will not go and assign all the list of items to the selected users unless and until the propagation is done. once it is propagated, only then backend the job will run with the help of this propagate action. Only then employees will be able to get all the list of items that we have just done when we assign this profile. So any doubt in propagation at all?
Did we hit on propagation there, Madhavi? For this I didn't do it.
I have not done, because I have not done any changes here on assignment profile at all. What we will do, we will go select any of the rules here. I'll go and add rule. I will select employment status here as active. Matches. Go and search for your employment status. The list of employment status will be shown here. Active employee and full-time employee. Add them in your rule. So save it. Okay. Can you see here? Once you have made any sort of changes, again the list of whatever changes that you have made, you have included another rule, say employees whoever employment status are under active and full-time, all the catalog, that is, if you see here there is a catalog called human resources. If I go and navigate to that particular catalog, list of items that is under this catalog we will be able to see. Now you want all this particular catalog should get mapped to the new assignment profile that you have done. For that you have to always propagate. If there is no changes that is done, it will always be grayed out so that you don't have to do anything here. If there is something propagate in which it is active and you want to make any change, that means it is understood that there is some changes that have happened and you have to propagate it. I am clicking on propagate, and you also see here, you can see the status shown as propagation required here. Okay? Now, run your job and finish. Let me select this and finish. It will tell background job status. So then the full schedule. Now go back to your assignment profile. Now you will see this propagation is not active and it will tell propagation was done on 12. Propagation scheduled on today's date it has taken, and this propagation will not be available. This is how you create a rule in assignment profile, and then you can also see a button called synchronize. Synchronize means now there are set of users in the system. Say tomorrow there are support set of users, and then there are in LMS system only you have created some users, and this particular assignment profile should go to that particular user also. But then automatically there are background jobs running every day. Say there is integration done, users are there in the system, wherever it is, whether it is employee central or in SAP, whenever there is a hiring action done, for all those users to come into LMS system, there is a background job running every day in the website. So, but tomorrow morning, you are only creating some users in LMS system, and you don't want to wait till the end of the day or till the midnight or for the next day, but you want that to happen today right away. You can always go and click on synchronize button. The moment you synchronize it, Whatever for testing purpose you have created a user and you want to go back to user's homepage and check whether the catalog search, whatever you have done here, has got mapped or not. Whether employees are able to search for the catalog that you have just created for a new user. Then you have to always click on synchronize button only, then immediately the catalog will go and sit in employees learning assignments. I mean not learning assignments, under find catalog and browse all courses. That is what this particular synchronize button is meant for under action. Now I am under assignment profile screen. If you see, this is an assignment profile. The catalog that is mapped to assignment profile is human resources. Now I can always go and select human resources catalog and see what else is mapped. Otherwise you can also go and see the items in this particular assignment profile here. Let me see what is there under catalog. Under catalog human resources, if you see here, there are list of many courses. If you see here, there are n number of courses here. You keep scrolling down. So all the list of courses that is there under catalog called human resources has an item called fire extinguisher, safety, many courses. So business ethics, leadership, accounting related, feedback form, accounting level 1 accounting. So these are all the items, list of items mapped to catalog called human resources. Now if you see, there was assignment profile also mapped. So this list of courses which belongs to catalog called human resources has assignment profiles called new hire orientation, all employees list of courses, Asia Pacific. These are all the assignment profiles which is mapped to this particular catalog. So a catalog might have 300 or 400 list of courses, but then all of those should not go, all of the employees should not be able to see all 400 courses. Based on their own criteria that we have chosen here, only those they should be able to see. That is what you have just done under assignment profile. So here you have this assignment profile. These are all the assignment profiles. If you go to catalog, you can see for this particular catalog what all items are assigned, what all curriculums are there. So these are all the list of curricula that is mapped to catalog called human resources. There is general employee orientation, all the associates, curricula, business communication, HR required training, no titles. So what somebody has created for test purpose. So if you see here, you can even go and click on this link so that you can again navigate to curricula. So let me check on general employee orientation curricula. You can see under this curricula how many items have been mapped. There are two assignment profiles, new hire orientation and test assignment profile. If you come under content, you can see these are all the items which is mapped to curricula called general employee orientation. There is an item called standard ethical conduct, company procedures, employee participation policy. So these are the three items which is mapped to this particular curricula. Other than that, this is subcurricula, which is HR required training. If you navigate to subcurricula, under that how many other courses are there, you will be able to see. If you see here, this is requirement. New requirement section we have still not seen. There are three different requirements actually. If you want to assign those requirements to curricula, when we go into requirement section, we will be able to see number of hours, number of tasks of item. So there are three different creations. So we will see in detail when we are actually creating a requirement. So all these items which is assigned to curricula, you will be able to see. So based on this selection criteria only, employees one moment. Pradeep, sorry. Hi, Pradeep. So, yeah. Means, will you get corrected in some time or will you get... okay. Okay. Okay, when you got right now only. Okay. Okay, I'll check your everybody. Yeah, okay. So, Pradeep Pandai, he has got lost actually from the picture. Okay, so this is how we can keep on navigating one after the other for each and every mapping that we have done for our learning needs management.
For item and for curriculum, you have one flag, right?
Let me go to... here, is it?
Yeah.
You're telling the system whether this particular catalog is a revised one or it is a new one or it is featured. There is a tile, standard tile and employee section. I mean, in my learning assignments of a user, there are so many tiles, my learning assignments, employee, history. Like that, there is a tile also called featured, recommended and bookmarks. So, if this particular featured is being flagged, then items under this particular catalog, all these items will be in featured file of employee. This is what you are just flagging them. If you want to show this particular courses in that particular file, dashboard or file, say even that file or a portrait, so these courses will go and sit in that file. If somebody is recommending some courses, all those recommendations will go and sit in the employees another file called recommendations as a separate file. So it is up to user how they want to behave it, whether they want to accept that recommendation, go ahead with the training, but then he will be able to see like how many recommendations he has received. So that way we flag it actually. So this is what we do in assignment profile. First thing is you give your own attributes, you select your attributes and you select the value for the attribute by giving all the rules and all. You select which domain that particular employee belongs to, then you give your attributes with the value and then see by clicking on preview button you will be able to know how many users have been selected under that assignment profile. So once that is done, you save your assignment profile and then you propagate it. Only after propagation, whatever changes that you have done will be affected for the users. Otherwise, all your assignment profile you have done, you have created a catalog and then you have mapped it to assignment profile without propagation, employee will not have the catalog search at all.
Manu, can you go to assignment profile one?
Yeah. So there are two assignment profiles. You want me to go to assignment profile screen? Yeah.
We are giving a name, right, Manu, for that assignment profile, or we don't give any
Name? What name?
Description
and ID. ID, is it?
Yeah. Different one assignment profile from another.
This is your ID. New hire orientation is your ID. This is the description of your assignment profile.
Okay.
Always your ID will be here in your right hand side. And here will be your description. It is not only for your assignment profile, it is for everything. If you go to learning also, you see here, this is your ID. This is your item type. We selected as code. Item type, your ID, and this is your description. That is the title. As I had shown in the assignment profile, once we click on preview it, you will be able to see the list of users, how many are there who are under that particular selection criteria, right? And you can also do another way. You have your users tab, and coming to your search criteria, can you see there is something called assignment profile here? Correct. Now, go select your assignment profile as your search criteria, and now say I want to, the way I had under user needs management, batch-wise we can assign items, batch-wise we can assign curricula or whatever, list of entities that you were able to see. So if you want to select based on your assignment profile also, you can either do that by selecting your assignment profile. You will get all your list of assignment profiles here. Or what you can do is you don't have to actually assign anything based on the assignment profile because it is already getting assigned. Only with the help of assignment profile they are able to see the catalog. But then if you want to search the users who belong to that particular assignment profile, select your search. Say I want to see employees who belong to employees in Asia Pacific. So add the filter and submit your filter. So under users, I just want users who belong to Asia Pacific. Just searching. There are no records under assignment profile Asia. I'm clearing that assignment profile. We'll search for another assignment profile. Say employees in Europe, executive employees. Can you see this? Only with the help of assignment profile you were able to see how many users are there under that assignment profile. There are total 404 users. So based on the records in per page, you are able to see them. So let's just select 500. All the list of employees you will be able to see. So it is all like, however you want to search your criteria, whether it is users or assignments or items or anything, the standard you can add your own criteria. Yes, sir.
So basically, if you want to search assignment profile, go to users and then click on assignment profile.
No, that is why I went to users and went to users tab. I wanted to search for the users who belong to that assignment profile. But if I want to search for assignment profile that is existing in the system, go to users tab and assignment profile.
So just evaluation part in SAP, right?
Navigation.
Yeah. Based on certain conditions.
Conditions your giving. You want to tell the system, right? Like how you want to assign. Yeah.
So we can use this specific assignment profile for some other criteria.
Yeah, that is what they have. So they have so many other criteria, no related to job code. They have for new orientation. They had employees who only belong to a job code called executive. So all these, it is, if you also see there is something called user as assignment profile, we'll see the role what they have created here. If you see manage role, here what they have given, people who belong to corporate and core data set domain and who have a job code called Chief Executive Officer, that is CEO. This is your criteria. This is your attribute is job code and your value is CEO. This is your attribute and this is your domain, and you're selecting an assignment profile so that whoever belongs to the job code CEO, they will only be assigned to particular set of catalogs. Like we will see what catalog is assigned. There is no catalog assigned to this particular assignment profile. And see if there is any curricula attached to this. So if you see here, business communication for employees, there is a curricula which is assigned to this particular assignment profile. So this entire business communication for employees curricula will go to the employees who belong to domain and who has an attribute called job code CEO. Curricula is what? Business communication for employees. I will navigate to curricula, so we will be able to see what all items are there which is assigned to the curricula. So all these items, if you see here, content, these are all the items which is mapped to curricula called business communication. So one job code, whoever is having CEO, they should be able to do all these courses because this particular curricula will go and sit in the user section of the employee learning homepage. Hello? Yeah. Anybody wants to say something? Pradeep has got dropped from the call, so his internet has gone, so he will not be able to join the class now, please. So should we continue or
we can start model. Yeah, Father, we can continue tomorrow.
We'll continue tomorrow?
Yeah.
What about others? What others do? Okay. Everybody is okay to close the class now?
Yes, sir. Madhavi, regarding the workbook.
Workbook. I can show them workbook even now. Yeah. Sharing workbook around is not at all a problem. There is something called this sort of an Excel. We'll be able to get this from master portal from anywhere in that matter. So this is how all our requirements. If you see, there are so many other sections here, users, items, scheduled offerings. We have these many things, right? So this keeps going on. We basically create whatever that we are going to create, see what domain we are going to create, what assignment profile, what competencies, what roles we are going to create, what are our locations, and what is the pictures, what is the references. So everything will have under this particular single template only. So with the help of this template, we will speak to our customers, and whatever their requirements are, everything we will input them under general requirement section. So this is what their requirement is. So we will have all our requirements. Based on this requirements only, we will be configuring the system. And then coming to users, items, we will have all our items details and scheduled offerings, and how many locations they want, what materials they want to add, what catalog they want to add. So this is the only template that we have with us. On the workbook part, I can only share this, or you can even get the latest workbook from Partner Portal. I can share this, or else I will download from Partner Portal the latest one and share that with you.
Maybe later on you will be telling about the implementation.
Yeah, implementation phase I'll speak about it. Once we are done with all our tasks, so then I speak about like what we are actually in implementation stage, what we are configuring, and all that. Like what are the iterations, what is meant by that initial stage, what we are doing, after iterations, what we are doing. All implementation process I will tell you.
Basically, how many iterations would be there, Marie? I mean, how many?
3. Yeah, 3 iterations will be having.
Any project will have only 3 iterations, is it? Or based on the...
No. Whatever it is, over the line, we will have only 3 iterations.
Okay.